Welcome to part 2 of the Joy Refresh. Today, we're going to be talking about cultivating gratitude in our lives. Even if gratitude journaling and a gratitude practice has never worked before for you, I know that's been the case for me. I've kind of struggled with cultivating gratitude. Stay tuned because I've got some ideas that I think are really going to help. So, why should we cultivate gratitude? Well, it's correlated with things like better life satisfaction, more optimism, more positivity, looking forward to things, just generally being happier. So, who doesn't want that? I know I do. However, in the past, when I've tried to do a gratitude practice where it's either like a gratitude journal or get up in the morning and think of 3 things I'm grateful for, it hasn't always worked for me. It hasn't connected with me. And I've kind of felt bad about that, to be honest, um, because it seems like I should be grateful for things. And I think that I have been. But in the past, I've just struggled with it. It I'll list things off like, I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my husband. And it just feels not it's just not connecting. It's not hitting. It doesn't feel like it's doing the thing that gratitude practice should do for someone. However, recently I have been able to find several different ways to really instill gratitude into my life and to make gratitude not just a state that happens, while I'm doing that practice, but more of a trait, more like a character trait that's more pervasive through my life. And I want to share some of those things with you. All right, my first and my most favorite way of practicing gratitude is a morning practice that I've started doing. The idea comes from Linda Berry, who is a comic and writer and professor, artist. She calls it the review frame. I'm kind of playing around with different ideas, maybe the recall portal. It doesn't really matter what we call it. But I've started doing this as part of a How to Be Lucky challenge, which I do hope to share that on this channel coming up soon. So let me know in the comments if you're excited about that, if that sounds interesting. But the first part of this is to just become aware. This takes about 5 to 7 minutes a day. And I'll try to drop in a photo of this, but to be honest, my YouTube editing skills, I am very new at this. So I'm not too sure about it, but let me see if I can hold this up so that you can see it. And then I will try to drop in a photo of it so that this makes more sense. But basically, I'm using a composition notebook that I have kind of decorated just because I find that to be fun. What we're going to do is divide your page into 4 parts. On the first section, you're going to label that did or happened. Those are things that did or happened in the day before. The next section is for saw, things that you saw in the day before. Then there's a section for heard, something that you heard, and then one for draw. Now, what you're going to do with this is write down 5 to 7 things that you did in that first section, 5 to 7 things that you saw the day before. And I love this because it's really building our awareness of what's going on around us. And our active recall. So we're kind of reflecting on the day before and thinking, what did happen? And some days, to be honest, I sit down and do this and I think, what did happen? I don't know. It's just a really good practice to get in the habit of remembering what happened and what we saw in our days and to take notice of details, to savor those things. So 5 to 7 things you did, 5 to 7 things that you saw, 1 thing that you heard. So this could be a song, it could be a bird, it could be an odd sound in your house, it could be your husband whistling, it can be anything that you heard. An overheard piece of conversation is a fun one to put down. Like if you're going through a crowded place and you overhear somebody say something, that's kind of an interesting one. And then in the last section, you're going to draw something from your something that you saw list, or any of these things. You'll draw something. Now, you do not need to be an artist, but there's something about that physical thing of taking something that's in your imagination and putting it on paper. It helps you to notice it more, even if the finished product doesn't look anything like what you're trying to draw. It doesn't matter. The artist police are not coming after you for this. It's just an exercise. Now, here's the key that I added to Linda Berry's exercise. I go back and I put a check mark by anything that feels lucky to me. And this is the key, because those things that feel lucky to me, that's like a gratitude practice. It will feel like gratitude to you when you put those check marks. It feels lucky that I heard that bird call. It feels lucky that I saw that hawk in the yard. It feels lucky that I got to have lunch with my husband. Whatever that is, it's gratitude. It's kind of like a sideways way of getting at gratitude for me, and a more detailed way of getting at it. So that's my first method of practicing gratitude, and I hope that you will give it a try. I've really enjoyed it. So, my next way of practicing gratitude is savoring things. And I mentioned savoring just a minute ago. But when we savor, when we take a moment to really appreciate things like the taste of our food, when we slow down and we notice, how does our coffee taste? Whatever else we're drinking, maybe. What is the taste that we're experiencing? When we notice things that, like the sounds around us, which the review frame exercise, the recall portal, whatever we want to call that, that exercise helps us think about what sounds we're hearing in our environment. But when we take a moment to really savor those things, the way that a blanket feels, or our clothes feel on us, or the way a hug feels, the way a handshake feels, something like that, smells in your environment, to really savor your food as it's cooking, the laundry as you pull it from the dryer. Really savoring those things is another way to practice gratitude, in kind of a more specific way than just naming 3 things that you're grateful for. The third way to practice gratitude is by thanking other people. So, gratitude really is kind of an other centered, social way to connect with people. It helps us to appreciate the people in our lives, whether we really know those people or whether they're just acquaintances or people that we run into when we're out and about. So, one way to really practice gratitude is to thank people. Now, this is probably a habit for you. If you go somewhere and you're in a shop and someone checks you out, you may thank them. Someone holds the door open, you may thank them. But truly take the time to look people in the eye and really thank them. Maybe be specific about what they've done for you in that moment. They will appreciate it, and you will feel good about it as well. You will realize that other people are here to help us. Matter of fact, my daughter yesterday, my oldest daughter, told me a story about, she was in New York City. She's been spending time there, but she's a Kentucky girl at heart. So the city feels big to her. But she's met quite a few people while she's been up there. She was coming out of a dance class, and a man said to her, "Oh, you're pretty." And then he started following her. She felt threatened by that. Then she felt a woman come up beside her, and someone else, a man, tap her on the shoulder. And she screamed. She thought she was being surrounded. But what was happening was, the man said, "It's me, it's me, it's me." It was the dance instructor who saw that this other man was harassing her. And the woman next to her was just a stranger in New York who was looking out for other people, who saw what was happening and had come kind of to her rescue. And just to realize that people are looking out for each other, even in a big city. I mean, she thanked them profusely, and it was stuck with her that people were looking out for each other in this big city. So when we tap into that and we realize other people are good for the most part, we all do want to look out for each other. But just by thanking people, even in a simple way, we don't have to have a dramatic story like that. It really does help us tap into that gratitude. Another way that you can tap into thanking others is by sending a text to someone and thank them. Thank them specifically for something that they did for you recently, or thank them for something that maybe they did that was profound and made an impact on you in the past. Maybe send an email, pick up the phone and give them a call. Another way is to send an email or a note to an author that you appreciated their work, that their work had an impact on you. That's a really nice way to connect with someone. Now, you may never hear from them, and that's okay, but just the act of putting into words and then putting it out there to thank them for their work that had a positive impact on you helps you to remember that positive impact, and it builds positivity and gratefulness into your life. Now, one other thing I do sometimes is if I wake up in the night, I will try to run through a list of things that I'm grateful for instead of ruminating on other kinds of things that happen. Every once in a while, I deal with insomnia. Maybe you do too. I have found that running through a gratitude list can help me fall back to sleep. But if I do stay awake, at least I'm in a positive frame of mind. So if you've never tried that, give it a try. Chances are you've tried it, but maybe this will be a refresher and a reminder for you. Now, in the description of this video, I will have a link to a 21-day gratitude prompt list. So if you're inclined to do a 21-day gratitude challenge to try to build that in, this prompt list has specific questions that will help you tap into gratitude about all kinds of things in your life. So you may have to copy paste that and then put it into your browser. I think I'm so new on YouTube, I can't really put like a hyperlink in there that will automatically let you can click it. If I can, then bonus to all of us. But I think you may have to copy paste that link. Also, in the comment section, I would like to play a little game of gratitude so that we have some comments that we can read through and really be thankful for all kinds of things and maybe reading other people's gratitude lists will also help us. So I will have the first pinned comment with a gratitude question that I will answer for myself, and then I invite you to answer as well. I would love to hear what you're grateful for. I would also love to hear any other ways that you practice gratitude. I think that can be really beneficial as well. All right, next week will be part 3 of our Joy Refresh series. We're going to be talking about adding new interests and activities into our lives in order to refresh our joy. So stay tuned for that. That video will be posted sometime next week. The best way to know when it's posted is to subscribe to the channel. Somewhere around here on the screen, you will see a video pop up of the last video I did for the Joy Refresh series. In case you missed that, you can go back and watch that. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next video.